Today, outside of the Angelina County Courthouse, the group came together as part of the National ICE Out protests. Our Olivia Hartpence was there.
Point where we're going to see more and more of this. I think we're starting to see the change. We're starting to see that growth.
Jocelyn Pettit was just one of the people that came out today in Lufkin for the National ICE Out protest. A national protest which started following the death of Renee Good, a woman who was shot in Minneapolis by an ICE officer on Wednesday. Organizations across the country have been gathering together in remembrance of Good, and this protest is one of thousands across the country.
Are out here because they're just like, no, now is the time we need to make our voice heard.
Protesters of all ages were outside the Angelina County Courthouse with signs chanting in opposition of ICE agents and raids and standing for what they say is deeply important. And reviews from community members driving by were mixed. While some cars honked in support and rolled down their windows to cheer the crowd on, others drove by shouting profanities and expressing their dismay for the protest. Pettit says she received more negative responses from this protest than she did from the No Kings protest held in the same spot this past October. However, both then and now, there was no law enforcement present and no issues. This also comes at the heels of a Texas law that went into effect January 1st, requiring sheriffs that operate jails to formally cooperate with ICE agents and carry out immigration enforcement. With moments of silence for Renee Good, as well as musical tribute, protesters said they were there to fight for immigrant rights.
And keep happening. And so when we come together and we make our voices heard and we show people that there are people in this community, even out in East Texas, that are sick of this and are willing to stand up and say no.
Olivia Hartpence, East Texas News Weekend.
Today's protest was organized by the Lufkin LGBTQ+ Alliance. Members say more events like today's will be scheduled.